Hey up you lot, welcome back to the channel. Right, before we go any further, just a quick shout out to Scott. I always give Scott a quick shout out on a Sunday. Instagram, you put a post on about Stranger Things. You've just started watching it. It seems you're a little bit late to the party like I am. I've only just started Stranger Things. I'm about 5 or 6 episodes in. Can't say it's making an awful lot of sense, but I'm loving the 80s nostalgia side of it. Absolutely love it. The music, the look, it just looks brilliant. And I am enjoying the story. I'm just trying to work out exactly where it's going. But I suppose we'll both come to the same conclusions when we get to the end of the season. I believe, is there about another 4 seasons of it to go? I try to watch one a week if I can. I don't seem to be able to binge watch the way that I used to do. I used to be able to watch 5 or 6 in a row, but I never seem to find the time to do it now. If I can manage one episode of a series a week, I'm doing really well. So you'll have to let me know how you get on with Stranger Things, and I'll keep you posted how I'm doing with it. But I'll try and watch another one hopefully later on, which should hopefully make a bit more sense than the last ones have done. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, morning Scott. Right. Let's see, we'll start this off with a top 10. I've been asking people everywhere to send me their top 10 favourite movies, either over Messenger or text it over or WhatsApp it or whatever, and I've had no end. I've had quite a few. I must have had a good 10 or 15 so far. So if it takes me a short while to get round to yours, please bear with me. I've got a few to go at. And they are still coming in. I got another one this morning. I'm going to do Will's top 10. Will Barlow. Will joined the group and subscribed to the YouTube channel probably a couple of weeks ago. He's enjoying the content and he brought his list to me. Well, he messaged it to me actually. So I'm going to run through these. These are his top 10 favourite movies. I'll go in reverse order. Now these are on my phone, so if it suddenly blacks out on me, I'm going to have to relight it up or whatever it is you do. Number 10, Malcolm X. I've not seen this. It's Denzel Washington, I believe. Is it Denzel Washington in this one? I know it's a 4-hour marathon of a movie to do with the black activist Malcolm X. I'm guessing it's around the same sort of time as Martin Luther King, same sort of thing. I haven't watched it yet. This has been on my watch list for quite a few years. I'm just trying to find sort of 4 hours in a row to actually sit and watch it, but it's definitely on my watch list. That. Number 9, Dune. Now, I asked this week whether it was the original version from '84 or whether it was the new version from earlier this year. It is actually the new version, but I believe he has seen the original as well. Now, I've only seen the original version, and it was a long time ago. And a bit like Stranger Things, it made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. I even attempted to tackle the book, hoping that would sort of make more sense. It absolutely didn't. I think I got about probably half a chapter in and gave up with it, which is pretty much what I did with Lord of the Rings, if I remember right. I tried reading that once, and that completely lost me. So, oh, here we go. It's gone. Sorry about it. There we go. I'm back again. So yeah, Dune. Yeah, I do want to see the original again. I believe there's a director's cut of that, which I wouldn't mind getting hold of, which I think is about 4 hours long. But I haven't seen the new version yet. It's I couldn't tell you. Is it Timothy Chalamet is in there? That's about all I can think of. So yes, that's another one that's on my watch list. Number 8 is Inside Man. I know absolutely nothing about this one, so I'm going to have to look up what that one's all about. I've never heard of it. And on most of these lists that I've been getting through, there's usually one title that stands out above all the others. And on this one, it's number 7, which is Alien. Now, I talked about Alien on the last video when I was talking about Callie and Guy's podcast. that was to do with the Alien franchise. The reason this one stands out, or stood out to me, is this was released in 1979. The original version was released in 79, and Will is 25 years old. So my first question was, where exactly did you come into contact with the original Alien? And apparently his dad is a huge movie fan, old movies, and he introduced him to it. I mean, what an introduction to the Alien franchise! I mean, he must have seen it at a fairly young age, I would think. I certainly wouldn't have dared watch anything like that. Certainly not before I was about 15 or 16. Things like that used to just scare the crap out of me. So, yeah, that one kind of stood out head and shoulders above all of the rest. But that is a classic movie to have on any list, without a doubt. So nice one on that one, Will. Number 6, Free State of Jones. This is another one that I knew nothing about, apart from I'd got some sort of an inkling that it was to do with slavery, which I believe it is. He's explained it to me roughly this week, so I have put that on my watch list because that one does intrigue me. So I'm going to be taking a look at that. Number 5, Layer Cake. I loved this film. I saw it for the first time probably about 2 years ago, and this was one of the very first reviews that I wrote for the website when I first started it. Daniel Craig, it's a gangster type thing. It is really, really well done. I can't remember much about it, to be fair, but I do remember really, really enjoying it. So I might post that website review on the Facebook page a little bit later on, because as I say, that was one of the first ones I ever wrote when I started the website. I remember writing it, but I can't remember much about the film, apart from the fact that Daniel Craig is in it, and there would be quite a few other British stars in there. But it's a cracking film. That's a great one to have on the list. Number 4, Adventureland. Another one that I don't know anything about. I asked him about this week, and it's some kind of a coming of age movie. So I will definitely be having a look at that. That has gone onto my watch list. Number 3 is The Northman. Yet another one that's gone onto my watch list. I know you love this movie because you told me about this one quite a few weeks back. I know it's a kind of a Viking, historically based epic, mostly to do with revenge. I believe it's to do with a young lad who sees his dad murdered by the Vikings, and he spends his whole life basically trying to track the guy that did it down and kill him. I think it's something to do with that. Now, I've got this on my watch list, hopefully for next week, so I'll be able to tell you a bit more about it. But it's supposed to be an amazing film. Alexander Skarsgård is in it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a look at that. It's supposed to be mega violent as well, so I'm not really sure I'm going to get on with that one, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, that's The Northman at number 3. Number 2, Pulp Fiction. Does it get any more classic than that? Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, John Travolta, Uma Thurman. And directed by Quentin Tarantino. It absolutely does not get much better than that. I haven't seen this for many, many years, but just seeing the title of that has made me want to watch it again. So I'll be digging that one out at some point. I might even invest in the Blu-ray. I did see on Amazon a few weeks back a rather handsome looking Tarantino box set of all of his movies. I've got 3 or 4 of them, but there are 3 or 4 that I'm missing. So I might as well just grab a box set and just take in Pulp Fiction again. But yeah, classic movie. And the phone's gone blank again. Bear with me. Here we go. Number 1, Goodfellas. What a choice. What an absolute classic. Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta, who sadly passed away a few weeks ago. I haven't seen this for quite a few years, but I have seen it 2 or 3 times. And I remember it being incredibly violent, but absolutely brilliant, as Scorsese's movies always are. My favourite one of his would have to be, I think, Casino. And they're all very long. Scorsese's movies are usually between 2.5 and 3 hours long. Casino is easily 3 hours. but it doesn't seem like it. Again, you've got Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone. I think this was the movie where she proved that she could actually act, um, as opposed to just spreading her legs like she did in Basic Instinct. It's not a very good claim to fame, is it? Um, I mean, I love Basic Instinct. I think it's a cracking movie, um, but it's real sort of basic, literally basic stuff, isn't it? But this one, Casino, is the one, as far as I'm concerned, she proved that she could act the socks off anybody on the screen. I thought she was superb in this. Anyway, that's my number one. Sorry, Will, I've just detracted a bit. Your number one was Goodfellas, which is an absolutely brilliant movie, brutal as hell, but well worth watching. So that's a cracking list, mate. Thanks for that. Next week, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get all of these things written down, and then I'll pick one next week. We'll see how we go with that. Now then, reviews. Oh God, where do I start? I'll start with what I watched yesterday. Now, if you've looked at the Retro Movie Zone Facebook page, you'll notice that I put on a reaction video. I've been asked to do this by a guy at work who asked me to do a Gogglebox style video of me watching a movie, and when I mentioned Freddy Got Fingered, he just burst out laughing. So, as a lot of people have, when I've mentioned this movie, but I thought, yeah, fair enough, I'll do that. So I did a reaction video, basically filming myself watching this incredible movie, and then I edited it all together, uploaded it to YouTube, who promptly blocked it on copyright grounds. I can only assume it's to do with the soundtrack, because I had the soundtrack playing, not loud, but loud enough in the background. So I think they tend to pick up on things like that. So I uploaded it straight to Facebook. Now, as for the movie itself, you will see, if you've watched that video, that I had a really, really hard time with it. I pretty much knew that I was going to. I didn't realise it was going to be as difficult to watch as it actually was. Now, this is, where do I even start describing this? It's the story of what you can only describe as a typical slacker. I assumed it was like a college lad, but he's not. He's like 28 years old, never worked, or has been in a series of dead end jobs. And his big dream is to become a cartoonist or animator in Hollywood. So he takes off for Hollywood, finds himself a girlfriend, kind of achieves his dream. I had real issues with this, as you will see if you've seen that video. Dave Lowe, I think, summed this movie up perfectly when he talked to me about it last week. He said it's almost as if they got some college kid who was obsessed with like sex, drugs, rock and roll, booze, and given him so many millions of dollars and basically said, do you know what, go and make a movie, and do what you want with it. And that's exactly what he's done. This is what you've got. It was directed by Tom Green, who stars in it. Don't know Tom Green from Adam. I think he was in a lot of the college boy sort of comedies of the early 2000s, like Road Trip, Euro Trip, that kind of thing. But I've not seen him in anything else. What did I think of the film? I know there's a lot of love for this film out there. I've seen no end of people this week who love this movie, but for the life of me, I don't see why. It had its funny moments, but it was the kind of comedy that I don't usually get on with, and this was absolutely no exception. It's gross out comedy. There are many scenes in there that I was doing this with, and fingers in ears and turning the sound down and all this sort of thing. It's a horrible film. That's not taking anything away from it. As I say, I know there are a lot of people out there who absolutely love this film, but I'm afraid I'm not one of them. I mean, just to give you an idea of the kind of scenes that you're looking at, you've got a really nasty leg break done whilst skateboarding, and it is really, really graphic and explicit. There are bones sticking out through the leg, and then our hero basically goes down and starts licking the wound. That's after somebody smacked it with a skateboard. You've also got a running joke with a horse. How they ever got away with that, I do not know. I would not even know where to start with that scene as far as describing it. All I will say is, if you wanted to actually make a horse feel good, this is what you do. I really don't need to paint a picture, do I? So there was that. There was a really gross scene to do with the birth of a baby in a hospital. It was as if they've basically flagged up every single thing that you're probably not supposed to do in a movie, and they've done it in this one. Um, don't get me wrong, it's really well done, and if that is the kind of comedy that you like, if you like TV shows like The Young Ones or the American Pie films, it's a much more explicit, violent sort of second cousin of those. Um, I I watched it. I'm very, very safe to say I will never watch it again. I've actually deleted it off my hard drive because there is no way that I'm ever going to sit through that again. It's one of those once seen, never forgotten experiences. I'm glad I watched it because basically I proved everybody wrong, because everybody said that I would never ever even entertain watching it, but I did. Um, and kind of wished I hadn't. The only redeeming feature of it for me was the soundtrack. There were some cracking tracks on there. There was a Sex Pistols track that I didn't recognise over the beginning titles, and a few minutes after that we had Gary Newman with Cars. And there were a couple of other tracks in there that I thought were all right. So the soundtrack was okay. It was just the rest of it I couldn't be doing with. But if that's your kind of comedy, you knock yourselves out. It's just not one that I'll be watching anytime soon, if ever again. But I will certainly always remember it. And now I think if anybody mentions the title Freddy Got Fingered, it will probably have the same reaction as I got from all the other people I mentioned it to this week. I shall probably just laugh with the memory of having watched it the first time. So the second one, I'll skip through this one quite quickly. Mad Max 3. Now this is sequelophobia. Watched it last night. I have to say, out of the original trilogy, I think this is possibly the weakest entry. I enjoyed it, but nowhere near as much as I enjoyed the original when it first came out. And Mad Max 2 I saw only a couple of weeks ago for the first time and thoroughly enjoyed it. This one, it was kind of a watered down version of number 2. It didn't do an awful lot for me. Now Tina Turner was in it. I love Tina Turner, and I can absolutely see why they got her involved with this. At the time the movie was made, which I think was 85, Tina Turner was huge. She was everywhere. She was going through the Break Every Rule sort of. I think that album had just come out. She was just basically at the top of the charts all the time. She was absolutely brilliant. So they got her in to play the leader of this colony. I thought she was great. I thought Mel Gibson was good. It was just the movie itself. It didn't do an awful lot for me. Now I'm looking forward to seeing Fury Road, just to see how they reinvent it, or reboot it or whatever. But that's my personal opinion. If I had to pick the weakest entry in this particular franchise, it would be this one, Beyond Thunderdome. I did thoroughly enjoy the track at the end, We Don't Need Another Hero, which Tina Turner sang, which I absolutely loved when it first came out, and I've loved it ever since. So to me, the highlight of the movie was the end of it, when they actually played that over the end credits. So I may give it another go at some point. Maybe I was in the wrong mood for it. I don't know. But it didn't do an awful lot for me. But I am looking forward to seeing what Fury Road um, looks like. So the other movie that I watched, and I've only just finished watching this one, not half an hour ago, is a little movie called Three-Headed Shark Attack. Now, the story behind this, I put a post on the group a few weeks ago. Um, it was basically saying that there were way too many shark movies out. I'd come across on one page, I think, 3, and shared all of them. One of them was Stalked, The Reef 2. I think another one was called Maneater. And I just happened to put a post on there and basically say there are way too many shark movies. And I was chatting to a guy at work, James Sanders, one of our security guards, and he says he can't get enough of shark movies. He absolutely loves them. Now, my take on that is I love spider movies. My favourite ever spider movies have got to be Arachnophobia, Kingdom of the Spiders, which I absolutely adore, and there's another one called Kiss of the Tarantula, which I enjoyed, and also obviously the Giant Spider Invasion, which is billed as being one of the worst movies ever made, and it is, but I still love it. Now his thing is shark movies, and I happened to bring up the subject of Jaws, and what he said staggered me. I'm going to read it out because it says, I really, really want you to send me this in a message so that I can read this out. Excuse me while I find it on the group. And now see what you guys think. This is it. This is what basically what he said to me. Jaws, for the time, a masterpiece. Okay, so far. Although the lack of suspense, humour, and frankly poor quality filmography show. Oh my god. Right, here we go. There's more. Three-Headed Shark Attack is suspenseful, comedic in places, but well-written story. Although unbelievable, the twists and turns carry on to the final credits. I'm smiling. I can hardly hold back the laughing. Now, his opinion of Jaws, before you all start lighting torches and gathering your pitchforks, it is just his opinion, obviously. I don't know whether it was winding me up or not. He swears he wasn't. But we argued this one out for a while about how can you possibly say that about an absolute classic from nearly 50 years ago. Now, whether it's the age of the movie, I don't know. And whether it's because we remember seeing it when it first came out, and it literally did terrify the whole world, literally scared the crap out of everybody. I don't know, but he does not rate Jaws at all. However, he does rate Three-Headed Shark Attack and all these other shark movies that have been coming along. He will watch any of them. He did mention another one, but I can't remember what it was now. But there have been an awful lot of them. Jaws was the original. It really was. And I mean, Jaws 2 wasn't bad. I think we went a little bit silly with Jaws 3. And as for Jaws 4, I haven't seen it. I keep meaning to watch it because Michael Caine's in it. And I love watching Michael Caine. But I've heard it's absolutely atrocious, so I keep sort of putting it off. But that was just his opinion. What did I think of Three-Headed Shark Attack? I've just finished watching it. Where do you start? The special effects are not actually as bad as you would think. They're not brilliant, but they're not as bad as you'd think. The story itself is absolutely ludicrous, obviously. It's some kind of genetically mutated shark with 3 heads. When you cut one of the heads off, it grows 3 more. The heads are constantly fighting with each other. Does that make any sense? And it lives on garbage. It lives on rubbish. So whether this is some kind of a message on pollution or what, I don't know. But to me, it belongs in the same family as movies like Sharknado, which I saw ages ago. And Sharknado was really good fun. I really enjoyed that one. And to be fair, Three-Headed Shark Attack, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's just good fun. I didn't recognise anybody on it in it apart from the old geezer. Is it Danny Trejo? He's done a lot of movies like From Dusk Till Dawn. I believe he was in Con Air and a couple of other bits. My God, how the mighty have fallen. And he's ended up in this on. It's I think it's a sort of an amalgamation of the Asylum and the Sci-Fi Channel. They do a lot of these monster movies, which are all heavily CGI dependent. The acting is usually pretty bad. They're an entertaining enough way to spend an hour and a half, but again, Three-Headed Shark Attack. It's not one I'll be watching again, but James loves this movie. He absolutely adores it. So I can't knock it. I mean, if it was that bad, I would have turned it off. But I thought it was all right. It was just good fun, so long as you obviously don't take it even remotely seriously. Yeah, it ain't bad, I suppose. I've seen worse. But no, it's not one I'm going to be watching. But that opinion on Jaws, James, we really need to work on that one. I'm going to be having words over the next few weeks about that one. I need to convert you to being a Jaws fan, as the whole world is. You're the only person I've ever met that has ever said anything about Jaws like that, so that kind of caught me off guard. Now, very quickly, I'm going to rattle through these because I'm coming up to 26 minutes, and we all know what happens at 26 minutes. Scott's £30 gift voucher that he sent me, thank you very much for winning that contest. I spent it this week on these two Buttes. I've been after these for ages, and this was a good excuse to get them. The Blu-ray, the Criterion version of Midnight Cowboy. I love Midnight Cowboy. Absolute classic film, and I will be talking about this when I've read it. And I spotted this, which is a book on the making of the movie, which goes into quite a bit of detail. It's quite a thick book. I'm really looking forward to reading that. Let's see, Book of the Week. Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I bought this from a school book club around about 1972, and it was very shortly after my mum took me to see this at Burton Odeon. I love this movie. Angela Lansbury, David Tomlinson, beautiful Bryony, all that. And this is the movie novel, the book novelisation of it. So again, a bit faded because this thing is nearly 50 years old. But that's the Book of the Week. Bin it or keep it. I might put this one off till next week actually and talk about it then, because I need to talk about this quite in depthly. But I'll do it dead quick now. Salem's Lot. I have seen it before. I haven't seen it for many years. I wanted to see whether it was still as scary as I found it to be way back in 1977 when it was first screened on TV. I'm happy to report that it is. This is absolutely brilliant. It's a two-parter. It's 3 hours in length. Stars David Soul, James Mason. It's just brilliant. Based on the Stephen King novel, there is a remake of this coming out, I believe, in April next year, which I'm really looking forward to. But I am absolutely going to watch this again. So this is definitely a keeper. And the soundtrack of the week, very quickly, is an odd one. Colour of Money. Paul Newman, Tom Cruise. It's got a lot of it's got a few tracks on it. The only one I bought it for is Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon, which plays over the scene where he's basically thrashing this guy at pool. I thought the film was superb. I've seen it many times. I think this soundtrack album is great. But Werewolves of London you couldn't get for love nor money. You had to import it. The only way you could get it was by buying this soundtrack album. So that's exactly what I did. But yeah, I don't know what the vinyl's actually like. I mean, I played it, but not overly. Do you know what I mean? So it's sat up there gathering dust for quite a few years, and it will continue to do so. I won't be getting rid of this one anytime soon. So that's the vinyl of the week. That's the Colour of Money. Right, I'll wrap this up before this thing quits on me. Thanks ever so much for joining me, folks, as usual. If you've enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and also subscribe. That would be absolutely brilliant. I should be back next week with more of the same. As I say, I will be trying to split it down into two videos, one for Saturday and one for Sunday, but we'll see how we go. It could all change, you know what I'm like. So have a great week, folks, and again, thanks ever so much for joining me, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Take care, you lot. Ta-da.